The sound was unmistakable, a thunderous pop, like a gunshot. Bernhard Langer looked down at his left leg, his expression dropping as he realized what just happened. In February 2024, at 67 years old, the German golf legend wasn't on a golf course when his Achilles tendon ruptured. The winner of 47 PGA Tour Champions tournaments was playing pickleball. For most 67-year-olds, this catastrophic injury would mean the end of competitive sports. The rupture of an Achilles tendon typically requires 6 to 9 months of recovery for young athletes in peak condition. At Langer's age, many doctors would advise a permanent retirement from high-level competition. The rehabilitation process is grueling. Constant physical therapy, gradual strengthening exercises, and the mental challenge of wondering if full function will ever return. But Bernhard Langer isn't most 67-year-olds. For him, this devastating injury was merely a temporary obstacle on his continued journey toward golf immortality. His mindset never wavered. Not during surgery, not during painful rehabilitation sessions, not when his left calf muscle withered to half the size of his right. 9 months after that fateful day on the pickleball court, Langer stood on the 18th green at Phoenix Country Club, lining up a 30-foot putt with historic implications. No legend of the game has matched this consistency on any professional tour. Not Jack Nicklaus with his record 18 majors, not Arnold Palmer with his army of devoted fans, not even Tiger Woods in his prime dominance. Incredible, just incredible. He just defies anything. He's an absolute incredible golfer, said Ernie Els, himself a legend of the game. At 55, Els is considered a veteran on the Champions Tour, but to Langer, he might as well be one of the kids. Bernhard Langer's professional career began more than 5 decades ago. Born in Germany, he has called Boca Raton, Florida, home for over 40 years. His life priorities are simple: family and golf. Both occupy much of his time, especially playing a sport at a world-class level while approaching 70. During his rehabilitation, Langer worked through physical therapy exercises, grimacing through the pain, but never losing sight of his return to competition. "I'm a very positive person, so I always thought I would be able to come back," Langer said. "My surgeon and PT said if everything goes somewhat well, you should be okay. Just, you're probably going to lose half the season or something like that." It went more than somewhat well for the World Golf Hall of Famer. The man who has defied his age over and over again was back playing competitive golf in just 3 months. In May 2024, Langer returned to competition at the Insperity Invitational in Texas. His dedication to fitness, which has grown as Langer has aged, played a huge role in his recovery. That passion led to Langer producing exercise videos from his yard and pool during the pandemic that he titled "Burn Baby Burn." Hashtag Feel the Burn. Throughout the season, Langer often used a golf cart, stepping carefully from it with his left leg still visibly smaller than his right. "My calf is only about half as big as the other one," Langer explained. "I just can't walk very far, and I can't run and jump and all that kind of stuff. I'm not really in a lot of pain, it's just not totally right." But on the golf course, everything was right. After his comeback, Langer entered 14 more events, finishing with 8 top 10s, reestablishing himself as arguably the greatest golfer in the 44-year history of the 50 and above circuit. At the Charles Schwab Cup Championship in Phoenix in November 2024, Langer was playing with house money. Stephen Alker had already secured the season-long Schwab Cup points race, but Langer's personal streak of winning at least once each year on the Champions Tour since 2007 was on the line. For 3 straight rounds, Langer did something remarkable. He shot his age or better. Opening with a 69, he followed with rounds of 64 and 67, putting himself in position to make history once more. On the final round, Langer stood over his 30-foot birdie putt on the 18th green, the tournament hanging in the balance. As he tracked his final putt, he wasn't sure if it had the distance. He played it 2 cups to the left. When the ball dropped into the cup, in Langer's words, all hell broke loose kind of emotionally. He dropped his putter, raised his arms, and tossed his trademark visor to the ground in jubilation. The victory secured his place in golf history again. Langer had already broken his own record as the oldest winner on the Champions Tour when he won at age 64 in 2021. Now at 67, he's extended that record 3 more times. People say, "Why am I still playing?" Langer reflected after the win. Well, this is why, because I enjoy the adrenaline, I enjoy being in the hunt, and I still feel like I can win and be there on the leaderboard. I've just proven that again, becoming the oldest winner again and again. Out here, it's been great to compete against these guys. It never gets old. Never gets old. A fitting phrase for a man who has won a golf tournament on all 6 continents where the sport is played, who has won at least once in each of the last 18 years on the PGA Tour Champions, and who produced exercise videos during the pandemic to pass the time. Langer had planned for 2024 to be his final Masters, where he won his 2 major championships in 1985 and 1993. But his farewell has been pushed to 2025 because of the injury. "That course is just so long," Langer said of Augusta National. "The last 5 or 10 years when I played there, it's just playing very long. It's not much fun hitting 3 woods into par 4s and 2 hybrids. The holes are made for 7, 8, 9 irons, and I'm coming in with some metal and other things." While the young guns of golf rely on cutting-edge technology, fitness regimens, and swing analytics, Langer has quietly built his own fountain of youth through disciplined preparation, competitive fire, and an unwavering positive mindset. His swing remains remarkably consistent despite his age. In a sport dominated by stories of young phenoms like Scottie Scheffler and aging stars trying to recapture past glory like Jordan Spieth, Bernhard Langer has crafted a different narrative entirely. One where age truly is just a number and winning never gets old. As Langer walked off the 18th green with a slight limp, his smile was wide and his eyes were already focused on the next challenge. For Bernhard Langer, at 67, it's not about coming full circle, it's about continuing to trace new circles of excellence on golf courses all over the world.
As a middle-aged womanizer whose life is in neutral, he has sent an anonymous letter informing him he has a 19-year-old son.
Legendary actor and comedian Bill Murray has just opened up about one of his biggest regrets in his storied career, turning down a chance to work with Hollywood icon Clint Eastwood in the 1980s. In a candid interview on The Howard Stern Show, the 74-year-old Ghostbusters star delivered a powerful message of remorse that reveals a rare glimpse into the road not taken for one of America's most beloved actors. "When I see him, I'm like, I'm sorry, I wish I'd done that, Clint. I'm really sorry," Murray confessed during the emotional interview. This apology relates to a decision made over 40 years ago when Murray, after the success of Stripes in 1981, got a surprising call from Eastwood with an offer to work together on a Navy-themed project.
And I said, "Well, God, I guess maybe I shouldn't." But it's one of the few regrets I have, is that I didn't do it because it was a big-scale thing. And I would have gotten I don't know if I'd have gotten a great Destiny. It was more of a comedy, that one. But he had access to, like, the last of all these World War II boats, and he could have, like, made a flotilla and stuff. And there was some cool stuff in it. And when I see him, I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know what. I wish I'd done that, Clint. I'm really sorry. You know, he's certainly well over it.
The original connection between the two cinema legends began when Murray, impressed by Eastwood's films like Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, made a bold move that many actors would never dare attempt.
A long time ago, I was watching the Clint Eastwood movies of the day, like Thunderbolt and Lightfoot or whatever the hell the movies he was making then. I was just a sort of up-and-coming guy, and I went, man, his sidekick gets killed, and he avenges. But the sidekick gets like a great part, a great death scene. I was like, I got to call this guy. So I called him out of the blue.
What followed was an unexpected opportunity that Murray ultimately declined, a decision he now counts among his few career regrets. When Eastwood asked if Murray would consider doing another service comedy, the SNL alum hesitated, concerned about being typecast after his success in Stripes.
Geez, when I become like Abbott and Costello, I had to do like military movies. And I said, well, God, I guess maybe I shouldn't.
Revealing the thought process that led to his fateful decision. The film in question is widely believed to be Heartbreak Ridge, the 1986 war drama that Eastwood both directed and starred in, playing the gruff Marine gunnery Sergeant Tom Highway. While the movie still went on to become a success without Murray, the Groundhog Day star now recognizes what a spectacular missed opportunity it represented.
1, 2, 2.5.
It's one of the few regrets I have, is that I didn't do it because it was a big-scale thing. And I would have gotten I don't know if I'd have gotten a great death scene. It was more of a comedy, that one. But he had access to like the last of all these World War II boats, and he could have like made a flotilla and stuff. And there was some cool stuff in it.
Murray's confession is poignant because it comes from an actor whose career has been defined by an unorthodox approach to Hollywood. Known for not having an agent or manager and famously difficult to reach, he maintains only a personal voicemail box that he checks infrequently. Murray has built a reputation for being selective about his roles. This approach has led to both triumphs and missed opportunities. He's previously turned down parts in films like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Monsters, Inc., and Little Miss Sunshine comes when both men are established legends. Murray has gone from an SNL comedian to a praised dramatic actor in films like Lost in Translation and Broken Flowers, while Eastwood, now 94, recently released his 40th film, Juror Number 2. Their nearly collaboration is a fascinating what-if in Hollywood history. Two artists with very different styles almost joining forces at the peak of their careers. Despite Murray's regret, he notes that Eastwood has long since moved past any disappointment over the missed opportunity. He's certainly well over it. He's a very resilient fella, Murray noted, acknowledging the director's legendary toughness and longevity in the industry. This comment underscores the respect Murray clearly holds for Eastwood, making his public apology all the more meaningful. The interview also revealed another interesting piece of Hollywood history when Stern pointed out that Stripes, the very film that inadvertently led to Murray turning down Eastwood, was originally written for comedy duo Cheech and Chong. They could have had fun with it. There were lots of stoner scenes in it, Murray acknowledged. Instead, with Ivan Reitman directing and Murray starring alongside John Candy, the film became the fifth highest grossing release of 1981, further cementing Murray's status as a comedy superstar. Murray's candid admission offers a fascinating look at the behind-the-scenes decisions that shape Hollywood careers and the genuine emotional weight that can accompany professional choices decades later. For a man who has built a career on his seemingly carefree, detached persona, this moment of vulnerability and regret provides a compelling contrast to his public image. The revelation also highlights the complex nature of career choices in Hollywood, where actors must constantly balance concerns about typecasting against potentially transformative opportunities. Murray's fear of becoming known solely for service comedies following Stripes ultimately cost him a chance to work with one of cinema's most celebrated directors. A reminder that even the most successful actors sometimes make decisions they later question. As Murray continues his eclectic career, recently appearing in projects as diverse as Wes Anderson's meticulously crafted ensemble films and the Marvel blockbuster Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, this glimpse into a path not taken offers fans a rare moment of reflection from an actor who has largely defined himself by looking forward rather than back. What do you think about Bill Murray's regret over not working with Clint Eastwood? Would their collaboration have produced something special, or were they perhaps too different in their approaches to filmmaking? And does Murray's willingness to publicly express remorse to Eastwood reveal something deeper about how he views his own legacy in Hollywood? The answers may never be known, but the powerful admission from one screen legend to another reminds us that even the most successful careers contain moments of what if.
I want to let young people know I want to let young people know that it is not a burden to love him and to represent him.
5 Grammy Awards in one night, 8 times platinum, a voice that defined a generation, then silence. What happens when a star burns too bright, when fame becomes a prison instead of a platform, when the very industry that celebrates you begins to suffocate you? The story of Lauryn Hill isn't just about music, it's about love, betrayal, motherhood, and the courage to walk away from it all when the spotlight becomes too blinding. Born on May 26, 1975 in South Orange, New Jersey, Lauryn Hill's journey to stardom began on an unlikely stage. Showtime at the Apollo, where at just 13 years old, she was booed while performing Smokey Robinson's Who's Loving You. Most would have crumbled under that pressure. Lauryn didn't. This resilience would become a defining trait throughout her career, though perhaps not in the ways the music industry had hoped. The foundation of the Fugees reads like a coming-of-age drama. A young Lauryn meets Pras Michelle when she was barely a teenager. Pras introduces her to Wyclef Jean, and what follows is not just musical chemistry, but a complicated love triangle that would fuel some of the most remarkable music of the 1990s. In 1996, the Fugees released The Score, an album that would sell over 6 times platinum and win 2 Grammy Awards. Songs like Killing Me Softly, Ready or Not, and Fuji Law showcased Lauryn's incredible range, her ability to sing with haunting vulnerability and rap with fierce conviction. But behind the harmonies was discord. The relationship between Lauryn and Wyclef had evolved from mentor-mentee to something far more complicated. While touring with the Fugees on the Smoke and Grooves tour in 1996, Lauryn met Rohan Marley, son of reggae legend Bob Marley. What began as a pushed connection, friends encouraging Lauryn to give Rohan a chance to break free from Wyclef, would become a relationship spanning years and producing 5 children. But there was a problem.
Are you with child? Don't blush on me now.
Actually, yes, I am.
Congratulations. This is something that was planned, and are you excited about it? And
Planned in the sense of, I'm 21 years old and going around the world, no, but planned in the sense that, I'm very much in love and very happy. I mean, I see birth as, motherhood as a benediction. So I'm just blessed with another responsibility.
When Lauryn became pregnant with her first child, Zion, the paternity was initially questioned. Wyclef believed he might be the father, only to later discover the child was Rohan's. And then another revelation, Rohan had married during his college years and had 2 children from that marriage, a fact Lauryn reportedly learned only after giving birth to Zion. In August 1998, Lauryn released The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, an album she reportedly produced, wrote, and arranged herself. The album was an immediate commercial and critical success, debuting at #1 on the Billboard charts and selling nearly 700,000 copies in its first 2 weeks. But the triumph was short-lived. A group of musicians known as New Ark filed a lawsuit claiming they deserved writing and production credits on the album. The settlement reportedly cost Lauryn $5 million and dealt a significant blow to her artistic confidence. The pressure mounted. Lauryn was now a new mother, the face of neo-soul and conscious hip-hop, supporting multiple family members financially, touring extensively to promote her album, and dealing with relationship problems. Then came the voice issues. During her Miseducation tour, Lauryn discovered something startling. Many of the notes she had reached during the recording were no longer in her range. She strained her voice trying to replicate what she had recorded. In 2000, Lauryn met a spiritual advisor known as Brother Anthony. Friends described him as possessive and aggressive, suggesting Lauryn was being manipulated. After this meeting, she abruptly fired her management team and distanced herself from former colleagues and friends. Her appearance at the 2001 Essence Awards shocked fans. Her iconic hair was gone, replaced with a short, unkempt style. Her voice was strained, and her performance of Adam Lives in Theory hinted at personal betrayal. July 2001, Lauryn records her MTV Unplugged special. What followed was less a musical performance and more a public catharsis. Between acoustic songs, she cried, ranted, and declared herself crazy and deranged. The stark difference between this raw, vulnerable Lauryn and the polished, powerful performer from just 3 years earlier left fans confused and concerned. The next decade saw Lauryn largely retreat from public life. She moved back to New Jersey with her children. Her relationship with Rohan became strained, with him later claiming their differences stemmed from Lauryn's spiritual journey with brother Anthony. In 2013, Lauryn's legal troubles came to a head when she was sentenced to 3 months in prison for failing to pay nearly $2.3 million in taxes. Shortly before her incarceration, she released Neurotic Society, her first new music in years. 20 years after the release of Miseducation, the album was inducted into the Library of Congress's National Registry, cementing its place in American musical history.